is that why do we care about it? Like generally people ask us, "Okay, why you should be here and all." I remember while we, the founding team of this company, while we were growing up, while we were having our own education, it was being quite a bit difficult in finding the perfect blend of the thing, like what to learn, why to learn, and where to learn. Learn, like every time we go to school or wherever we go to college, or everyone says, learn this, learn that, this is will do this to you, this will do that to you. But no one is able to tell us why we should learn that, from where we should learn that. And then we go on to a random searching spree, which at times helps us and at times doesn't help us. Now, what do we do? So if I have to say what do, we provide you industry relevant and updated courses, which means that whatever courses we carry on, whatever courses training we are providing, these are 100% industry relevant in the real-time scenario. We are not even going back and saying, yeah, this was something that was good in say around 2015, so do this. No, we always update ourselves. We always update the course content. With us, you have got two types of training module. One goes as live instructor based, which you are having right now with us. Other goes as self-paced training, wherein which we give you a pre-recorded video of the all classes that is there and you attend it through that. We also provide you 24/7 support system, which means that once you join any courses with us and you have and you are your class is over and then you are just revising your stuff and you find that you are having some problem in understanding something, you don't need to wait for next class to start. All that you need to do is to go into your LMS, that is learning management system, write down a query, ask to us, and we'll give you reply. Now this reply time may vary based upon the queries that we are having, and or else you can even get the soonest one, but we try and maintain that minimum 30 to 40 minutes time gap. Flexible schedule. Flexible schedule fits perfectly for any working professional. Where which I mean that if you are working, so say for example that right now it's 7 p.m. batch that we have started. Now, had it not been a weekend and it been normal weekdays, you could not have been able to attend this class. Suppose it's a live one I'm talking about, not the demo one. In that, all that you need to do is to drop us a request to reschedule a class for you, and we'll make sure that we give you a fresh class for that day in other batch, if possible. And if it's not, then we'll make sure that we work it out and we give you a solution for that as well. And we also do provide you class recording, which means that whatever class is happening, you'll be getting a recorded version of that. As of now, we have trained 500 plus people. They are both freshers and experienced. And when I'm talking about this, they don't belong to only Linux. They are the people who are from different areas. Now, getting back to 30-40 seconds, I told something about LMS. If you see, there is one major difference between offline training and online training. When you go to offline training, all that you get is the hard copy of the class notes that happens, or else you have to make your own notes. But coming to online training, you don't have to take that trouble. All that you have to do is to just be with your computer, or even if it is possible, you can be on your mobile phone and you can attend the class. You don't need to write anything. You just focus on what is happening. If you have any question, any query, just ask that. Now, what all will be the part of this LMS that I'm talking about? So basically, LMS will have your profile, where which will be which all of your information will be kept, which is important for us, like your name, your email ID, your contact, and all. After that, here you can see your class recording, which means that the last class stuff that has happened and the history of the classes that has happened. Of all the classes, all the recording that is there will be putting and updating it here for you. any query that you have, and those query which I mean is right now and in the future, you can ask in that LMS. Now, the fourth point says that you can view your test and assignments here. As and when the class progresses, when you join us for the Lancaster class and it progresses, then after every stipulated number of classes, we'll be having certain tests and assignments, and these we conduct to always assess you, what you are doing, how you are doing, how good you are doing about that, so that you don't lose the track and you're always in the learning process. So you can view all of your tests and assignments and the report of those tests and assignments in the same LMS. Generally, what happens is that even whether you are a fresher or you are a experienced guy, you are working somewhere, what happens is at times we are unable to attend any classes. In the future, I'm talking about. So if that happens with you, all that you need to do is to just reschedule your batch. Batch in the sense with that class, not batch, your class. And for that, you need to make a request to us, which is again available in LMS. Your attendance is also available there. We have your own personal inbox, which means that all the queries that you will be asking to anyone will be available in your inbox, and this is completely in sync with any good inbox that you find in Google, in Gmail, or Yahoo or something. We have completely made it to that level that it will never disappoint you. Refer your friend. You can even refer your friend and ask him to loan with you. And while you do that, we make sure that we reward you for that. And there are certain reward thing that is available, which you can see in the LMS. Instructor feedback is something that you can provide with, like, for example, this demo that you are going to have. Once you join the class, if you like anything, you can tell us about that. If you don't like anything, be it the way of conducting classes, be it the voice modulation, be it the pronunciation issue, whatever is there, you can talk about all this stuff. Then comes wish list and order list, which is again quite simple to go ahead. Now, we care about three things, and that is the pillar you can say of our company. These are the three major pillars: learning, performance, and career. We make sure that whatever you learn is smooth and effective, and that increases your performance in the industry, and that makes your career for you. So whatever number of days you're going to be with us, it's completely going to revolve around that only. Coming back to your trainer for the night, we have got Mr. N.S. Kumar for you. He is BTech from JNT University in Electrical and Electronics Engineering, and a Red Hat certified engineer as well with 96% marks, which you can see. He has over 8 years of real-time experience in the IT industry and training, and he has played various roles such as application engineer, developer, analyst, product support, and trainer. And right now he's working in retail sector and also conducting trainings for Linux administration, shell scripting, and MongoDB courses. So you can see we have actually made a quite effort to get Mr. N.S. Kumar for this class. Now we are going to start the demo session. Hope you all have a great time, and I'll get back to you once this demo session with Mr. N.S. Kumar is over for you. Thank you. Mr. N.S. Kumar, this is now you can take over the class.
Hello everyone, my name is Kumar. Welcome to the demonstration on the Linux administration course. Well, today this is gonna be a brief presentation around 30 to 45 minutes where I'm gonna walk you through the course content. So I'm not familiar with your background, but I'm assuming that you guys are pretty new to the Linux operating system or the course and all the relevant details. So I'm gonna quickly give you an overview and summary of all the different relevant areas related to the course, and then I'm gonna quickly give a small demo on how you are gonna learn and understand various topics, how the practice sessions would be, and all those details. Okay. Alright, so rather than starting with the course content summary, I just want to move to the next slide and then we'll get back to the course content. So what is Linux? So I'm sure you all have experience working on Windows, Mac operating systems. Linux is one of the kind of operating system. So it is available both in the graphical mode as well as non-graphical mode. So the graphical mode is the user-friendly version. Like you work on the Windows system, similarly you can also work on the Linux operating system post the installation. Other than that, Linux has its own command line interface. Okay, that means in Windows you open the command prompt where we perform very few operations like performing a ping operation, checking your host name or an IP address. But when it comes to a Linux operating system, we can perform all sorts of operations. In fact, we can do much more on the command line interface than the graphical interface. Okay, so we'll go into the history a little bit when it comes to the actual sessions, but I'm going to keep things very brief now. So that's all about a Linux operating system. So you'll be understanding a lot of commands. So rather than doing click click click, you will be using commands for each and every operation. Believe me, you're gonna enjoy learning and working on the operating system a lot. Once you get to a stage, be familiar with some of the commands, you would really enjoy working on the operating system. So as a part of learning the operating system, I would also get you understand what exactly an operating system is. So what is Linux operating system made up of? What are the different flavors of Linux operating systems which are available in the market? So this understanding is very important. I'll get you understand each and every minute details related to the operating system as well as the course. Okay, so I'm sure you would have heard about one of the most familiar operating systems is the Red Hat operating system. So there are a bunch of different flavors of Linux operating systems available in the market. When it comes to uh, these flavors, okay, so Red Hat is considered as the most widely used commercial operating system. So all organizations, they prefer Red Hat. Okay, and we also have certifications related to the Red Hat operating system. So Red Hat is a Linux operating system. Another one you can see here, the first one is Ubuntu, which is the widely preferred desktop operating system. Okay, so a Linux operating system in general, right, it is an open source operating system. So the lot of thousands of developers are contributing in developing the code, okay, which is used, and also in terms of developing different types of applications which are used on top of a Linux operating system. So we have a very strong community base for Linux operating system since it is open source. So that is why it is considered as one of the best when you compare to other operating systems, right? So thousands of servers are hosted. In fact, it is a Linux operating system on which uh, most of the servers worldwide are being hosted. Okay, so slowly we'll get to understand all those topics about different types of servers, how Linux is, why it is considered as so strong, how it is hosting all these different types of servers. Okay, so we use the word Linux in a generic state. That means Linux is an operating system. In fact, Linux is a kernel. It is not the operating system. So here I have used two different words. One is operating system that you're familiar with. Another one is kernel. So what is a kernel? So you'll be understanding all the components of an operating system, and kernel is one of the core component of a Linux operating system. In fact, Linux is also considered as a kernel. So this kernel was invented by Linus Torvalds. So that you can see on this screen. And here, these are the components of a Linux operating system, and you can see kernel being one of the core component. Okay, so other than the kernel, so we have some of the other components which are integrated, and as a whole we call it as operating system. So during the course you'll get to understand all of these components, what is the importance, what is the role played by these components. Okay, so coming back to this slide, we have a lot of flavors of Linux operating systems. In all these operating systems, the kernel remains the same. The kernel is separately maintained by kernel.org. You can go to kernel.org. So there are a lot of developers who are contributing to that kernel. So the Linux kernel remains the same. On top of the kernel, you build your own applications. Okay, you build your own utilities, you pack it, and you can name it as your own flavor of Linux operating system. So that is how we have so many different flavors that have come up. So the only difference lies in terms of the utilities and the applications, but the kernel used by all these operating systems or the flavors is the same. So that's why we sometimes use Linux and kernel at the same time. I mean, at the same meaning. Okay, so we'll get to understand all these components slowly when we go through the first and second modules of the course. So we'll go into the basics, understanding how the operating system starts, what are the components of the operating system, how we tend to work with the operating system, what is the graphical interface associated, what is the command line interface. Like that, we'll get into each of these topics. Now we'll quickly see the course content summary. So once we are done with all these basic concepts, so then coming to the course content summary. So the first session would be an understanding a practical demo on how to perform the installation of a Linux operating system. Now I showed you different types of flavors of Linux operating system, right? And among all this, the course is intended for people who are looking for Red Hat certification. Well, Red Hat is a commercial software. So just like Red Hat, we have a CentOS operating system. CentOS, Red Hat, Fedora, all these three different flavors are from the same organization. So CentOS is the open source, freely distributed. Red Hat is having the commercial support. You need to pay for the support. Again, Fedora is also an open source one. Usually all the upcoming release features are available in the form of Fedora, but all these three are from the same organization. So we can also use the CentOS operating system, and we can practice whatever is necessary for the certification course. Okay, so I'm going to give you details from where to download the CentOS operating system, and most of the time we stick to the virtualization software. That means most of the people would be working on a Windows system. So rather than having a separate Linux system, what we do is we install a virtualization software on top of which we'll have a Linux operating system being installed. So I'm going to tell you the steps on how to do the installation of the software as well as the operating system. So that is going to be the first module of the course. Followed by that, I'm going to quickly get you understand the work environment, how you're going to learn each of these topics. So we'll be starting with the very basic fundamentals, very basic things of creating files, creating directories. So I'll be giving you every topic wise comparison. Whenever a new terminology comes, I'm going to give you a comparison of how the same thing is used in Windows, assuming that you are familiar with the Windows operating system. So that makes you understand the topics much easily. So our basics here, let me show you a Linux operating system. So this is my terminal showing my Linux installed operating system, and this is my virtualization software. So this is Oracle VM VirtualBox. Here I have installed 3 versions of the operating system. Okay, so these are like 3 different hosted versions of the operating system, and I have started one of them. So this is one of the operating system version that I've started, and here you can see, so this is how the graphical interface would look like. So some of the features and what you can achieve using these graphical tools. Okay, so we'll not focus more on the graphical layer. Okay, I repeat once again, so I'm gonna focus completely on the command line interface, unless it is absolutely mandatory, or unless I feel that it would be much easier for you to get started using a graphical tool, then only we use the graphical tools. Okay, other than that, slowly in all these sections that you have seen, in 14 modules here, 13 modules we have, in every module we'll learn some commands. Now what the commands are, so starting from creating files, deleting files, creating directories, deleting directories, performing copy paste operations, moving the content from one place to another place, because everything is associated with a command. So you would only get to see a screen something like this. Well, I can also start my operating system in a non-graphical mode where you'll only have a command prompt. You run a command, then you perform an operation. Other than that, you don't have any other option. Okay, so slowly in each of the topics, we understand the concept. We get to see the commands that are associated with that concept, and then you practice. Okay, and once you're familiar with the basic operations that are associated, that would help you to get started with the Linux operating system, then we go to other features. What are the other features? In Windows, we right click open task manager, right? So one of the commonly used operation, you identify maybe your browser is currently stuck, it is not responding. You open your task manager, click end process, right? End task, you close it. But if you have got an opportunity, there are a lot of other things available inside the task manager, right? Okay, let me open that. You see here, so a lot of applications are running. I can see my CPU, memory, disk usage, performance, app history, startup. These are a lot of details that are available, but we don't need those details. We don't focus. As long as we are working on a Windows system, we just open our browser, we get the things done. So that is what we are expecting. But when it comes to the Linux administration course, all these are important. You will be learning all these things not from a Windows perspective, but from a Linux perspective. So there is no graphical tool that lists all this information for you. You need to type a command to list the processes. You need to type something else in order to see the CPU, in order to check the memory usage. For everything there is a command associated. So we get to touch all these areas when learning the Linux administration course. Clear? So that is what you can see here, process monitoring, okay, and then important files and directories, package management. In Windows, you download a software, double click, next, installation is complete, right? But here we have a different concept of packaging or handling the softwares available in the system, and you should be able to know all the commands associated with it. How do you check whether a particular software is installed or not? Now when I make you sit in front of this command prompt, you don't have any graphical interface where you can browse to program files and check whether a software is installed or not. You need to run a command and check whether it is installed or not. Otherwise, you need to download it, and for that you need a command. You need to install it, you need a command. So everything is associated with a command, right? So you'll understand how packaging is done, how softwares are downloaded, how they are installed. So that is all related to package management. And then there are a lot of services running in your Linux system, just like a Windows system also, right? So we should understand what are all the services. We may not focus on everything, but it is a job that we understand part of those services. Okay, so part of the services which are related to the certification course. Okay, and then we have concepts like user administration and group administration. That means creating the users, and then creating groups, adding these users to those groups. There are a lot of features associated, setting up details associated with the user account or the groups. So all these things do come under user administration and group administration, which is another important topic as a part of the course. Then the next one, I would say, in Windows, I'm sure you all have created drives, right? By default you would have a C drive and a D drive, and sometimes you might create a D drive where you want to copy all the music or the movies, and the E drive where you want to copy all the important data that you have. Like that, you would have maintained different drives. Similarly, in a Linux system, we have the concept of creating partitions. Like drives, we have partitions here. Okay, so here we call folders, here we call them as directories. Some words are a little different. So we create partitions, and it's not just about creating partitions. You would get a feel of what exactly happens when you work with files and directories or partitions. So what are the underlying things that happen when you run a command? What exactly happens in the background? Is it just about creating a partition? What else needs to be done? How data is exactly stored? So in order to understand all the related things, working on a Linux system would help you to get a feel of all those things. So you need to create a partition, you need to write a file system. What is the concept of writing a file system? What happens when you write a file system? And how is the data stored inside it? Okay, so all these minute details, you'll get a feel of all these details when working on the file system and the concept of partitioning. Well, once you reach somewhere around 7, okay, so by that time you would have covered all these important topics. Well, another important topic is security. In Windows, I'm sure you would have observed, right click on a file, click on properties, and there you would find permissions like read, write, execute. I don't know whether you have observed all this or not, but other than this permissions, so we have similar concepts, similar permissions applicable for Linux. So we'll get to start working on the security areas, starting from read, write, execute, permissions that are associated with files and directories. Slowly we will move to the next level. We have multiple levels of security related topics, okay, as a part of the course. So slowly we'll understand each level and get to the next level till we reach the concept of SC Linux and then firewalls, which are the last topics. So configuring firewalls, even in Windows you would have observed, right? But there we are going to do somewhat more than what you do in Windows. So how to handle the firewalls, how to handle services, how to configure them to the existing firewalls, and also understanding another important security part. Okay, all right, so that's pretty much about the security. See here, I repeat this. So we are going to go slowly throughout the course. Okay, so since I'm stressing a lot that you need to learn commands, yes, you need to learn commands. By the end of the course you would learn a lot of commands, but it would be like we would start with a course, the same commands you would be repeatedly using. You need to practice, you need to spend time to practice the commands. Okay, so every topic will be totally different, it will be very interesting, and you need to focus on those commands. Well, honestly, there are some, I don't know exactly how many commands are available in Linux, and being experienced of around 8 years, I cannot confidently say that I know all of these or at least half of the commands. Honestly, I mean, I would have hardly learned 10 or 20% of the commands till date. So don't worry, don't count on the commands. All right. So understand the topic, and whatever corresponding commands are there, I keep repeating those commands. Get familiar, okay, and I'm going to keep you in a position from where, as and when necessary, you can fetch the necessary command and get the things done. You'll be in a good state, so don't worry about that. Okay, so from 8 module 8, so other than all these generic topics, you'll focus on the server configurations. So there are different types of servers. So I'll just give a very simple example. So we all are familiar with web servers, right? That means websites which are being hosted. You might have visited a lot of websites. So behind all these sites, there are web servers, or you can call them as a HTTP service, right? In your URL, you type http:// some website name. It's a HTTP service or a web service. Okay, so you'll learn how to configure the web service. Similar to that, there are other services as a part of this course, so you'll understand how to configure all those services, right? Then coming to the end, you'll learn about a database configuration. We have one of the open source database available as a part of the Redhat software or the CentOS software. So we'll have a quick introduction of how database is installed, how it is maintained, how tables are created, some basic things about working with the database. All right, and then we have a topic called shell scripting. So I'm sure you all have heard about shell scripting. So shell scripting is the fastest way of automating the things when you're working on a Linux system. So when it comes to Linux, right, there are different areas. You can be a Linux administrator, you can be a person working on a Linux production support, you can be a person who is working on the development areas in the Linux, or you might be a kernel developer, or you might be working on a compiler, right? So there are a lot of areas, or sometimes you would be working on multiple things, and Linux is one of it, right? And for all these people, shell scripting is the fastest way to automate the things. And so what kind of automation is associated? Say for example, you're repeatedly doing something every day, okay? So in order to avoid that manual work, what we do is we write a small script. A script is nothing but whatever manual steps that you take, right? So for every step there will be a command associated. You put all these commands inside a script and you run the script, okay? So the script will take care of performing that operation automatically. You need not have to manually go and sit and perform the operation. So this is the kind of automation that is achievable. So we'll focus on different concepts of shell scripting, different types of shell scripting, and some more use cases of the shell scripts when it comes to shell scripting. Okay, well, like that we have a lot of topics. I have tried to talk only about the concepts which you could clearly understand and visualize. So that's pretty much I wanted to stop talking about the content summary here. And coming back, well, so this is my command prompt. So we'll start with the basic installation, and I'm going to talk about the different ways of starting your operating system, like graphical mode, non-graphical mode, and also what do you say, single user mode, the troubleshooting mode. I'm going to help you create some problems in your system and then help you troubleshoot those problems. We'll spend time working on the logs. So there are a lot of times that when configuring servers, I end up in a state that the server doesn't start, right? So in those cases, I go to the logs. So we'll work together. So we go to the logs, we see what the error is, and we try to fix it and make the service up and running. So troubleshooting, sometimes I create the problem, sometimes the problems do come automatically, but we'll troubleshoot and we'll work together throughout the course. Okay, and well, this is your command prompt. As you can see, maybe So ls is listing the contents, right? pwd present working directory. I am the root user. What is the host name? And then in Windows you would use ipconfig. Here I say ifconfig, so which is used in order to check the IP address of my system. Okay, like that. So I'm going to help you when it comes to the concept of networking. I'll explain you how to configure an IP address. I'm going to help you how to configure the host name, right? How to connect your system, how to set up a small network of systems, so that there is a connectivity between all these systems. All server configurations will practice on two different VMs, means virtual machines. One will be the server, another will be the client. So we'll have the connectivity between these two. So we'll test the server as well as the client. And in order to perform all this, you need to learn the corresponding commands. Okay. Well, so we'll see all this, and here just in case you want to visualize the things. Okay, so this is your hardware. Okay, and on top of which the complete part is your operating system, and the kernel is the main part of the operating system. I'll explain you the different functionalities and the role played by the kernel. Okay, and then there is something called as shell. You see this is nothing but this prompt. So this is a shell. You log in into this shell and you perform the operations. On top of it, we have a lot of applications. So we'll see how to work with all these applications. One of the application is VI. Now what is a VI? So in Windows, right? So we have Notepad. So where we open the content, we edit the content, we perform all those operations. But here, so it is the VI, which is a command line editor. Though there are graphical editors, graphical tools available, since we focus mostly on the command line interface, so it is the VI editor. Okay, see, touch file means I have just created a file. Okay, VI file. So I opened this file and then added content, and after that there are some keyboard shortcuts using which you need to save the content. You can quit. Now cat is to display the contents of the file. So these are the basic things. In Windows you just simply type Notepad and you open it, you type it, it's done. But here you need to work with the corresponding tools on the command prompt. So these are all the basic things that you would learn during the beginning sessions. Just wanted to run a few commands and give you a feel of how you'll be working on the system. Got it? And here with every topic we will, for example, if you take the VA editor, right? So how you will be making use of these VA editors. So for every service there are a lot of configuration files that we'll be working with. We'll be modifying all these configuration files, and in order to modify them we'll be using the VA editors. So I will, along with every tool, I'm going to explain you the shortcuts that I use frequently, and some of the shortcuts which would be helpful for you, and also some of the pointers that would help you to go to the next level. So all this information I'll provide you during the course. You need not have to worry about it. You just have to be a little passionate, that you would automatically gain after focusing on a few sessions, and then you need to spend time every day to practice on what we have covered for the day. Well, so that is how we will cover the entire course. Maybe by the end of the course, once we reach it, we'll do a quick revision, and also try to provide you with a small project, and also help you with some questionnaire on how the RHC certification exam would be. Maybe give you some inputs that would help you to practice for the exam. All right, so that's pretty much I wanted to talk about the course and the topics that I'm going to cover, and I'm open to have questions from your end. Any questions related to the Linux system or the course, or the areas or jobs, anything, feel free, you can ask me questions.
Unmuted.
Hello.
Yes, hello.
Hi, this is Chaitanya.
Hi, Chaitanya.
I have a small question. This
Uh,
course is only on Linux and not on Unix, right?
well, good question. Chaitanya, first of all,
Sorry,
Linux
Chetan.
operating system. Chetan, sorry, Chetan. Uh, Linux operating system and Unix operating system both are different. So I usually talk about this during the course. Okay, so Unix operating systems are totally proprietary operating systems. That means if you heard about Sun Solaris and IBM AIX, so these are all
Yeah.
proprietary operating systems. So the Linux operating system has been developed considering the format of Unix operating system. So even if you work on Solaris, you would find a similar command prompt, and a lot of commands would also be common on Solaris AX. But certain things are different, right? Certain commands are different, and you will not get those operating systems for free. So those are proprietary and commercial operating systems. So here if you draw a line, Unix, Linux. Under Unix, Solaris, AX, all these things which are proprietary. Under Linux, open source. And then Red Hat is a commercial. Operating system is free, but you need to pay only for the support there. But in the case of Sun Solaris, if you take nowadays, they're also integrating it with their own hardware also. So certain things would be common, certain things will be different.
So you mean to say learning Linux, we do have an overview or a brief idea on Unix also.
Yes, and also some commands are familiar. You can even if we make you sit before the system, you can get started, run a few operations, and quickly get to see the corresponding help pages and get the things done to a certain extent. But I cannot guarantee 100% knowledge. Does that answer your question?
Yes, yes, yes. I got it. That's it from my side.
Thank you, Chetan. Uh, Others, any questions I can help you with? Anything? I can see some more participants. Alex, Kundan.
So Alex, do you have any question from your side? So Alex, you can unmute and you can.
I don't have any questions from my side actually.
Okay. So Kundan, do you have any questions?
No, I don't have any questions actually.
Rajesh, do you have any questions? Okay, no problem. Yeah. So seems to be everyone has been good doing with the session, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's great. Uh, so Amit, you can go ahead.
Hello everyone, welcome back. Uh, so, uh, so just a quick review about the demo session that we have just ended up. Uh, I would like to know from Alex about your view about how demo session went and what you'd like to say. Hello, Alex, you there? Okay, I think Alex is not listening to, is unable to listen to us. Chetan, I'd like to know your view about the class. Yeah, Chetan, am I audible to you?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah,
Actually,
so
I
I'd just like
joined a bit
to,
of late.
okay.
Yeah, actually, I joined a bit of late, but
Uh-huh.
when I joined until now, probably I'm a beginner, so
Uh-huh.
it seems I'm very much curious to learn things.
Mm-hmm.
So it was good. Probably
Mm-hmm.
I will speak with Amit offline on this, and
This is Amit only here talking to you.
yeah, I can give you a call
So yeah, you can
and
talk.
take this up offline.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. No problem. No problem. So thank you so much, everyone. What we'll do is that we'll uh, and very soon we'll announce the batch timing and the new schedule. I think we are going to start first batch on 26th of this month. And before that, we are also having one or two demos, I think, which will again be taken by Mr. Kumar only. And you can completely, bet on him for the quality training that he provides and the assistance that we give to you. I'll tell you guys one thing that once you complete, this is the class that you're going to attend. It's not going to be the normal Linux class. It's going to be the Red Hat Linux certified training program, which means that after completing this one, you can completely, go for the Linux, Red Hat Linux training, certification program, and we'll support you there the way it is required. And that's how it's going to be helpful for you guys. As far as the pricing and the other thing goes, trust me, the pricing that we are providing and the quality that we guys are going to give you is going to be unmatchable from anyone in the market. So I'll be hoping that if Chetan and Kundan, you guys can get us a few more people in the demo next time, so that we can have a successful one next time as well. Thank you so much. I'll give you a call back on Monday to all of you personally. Thank you. Thank you so much. Have a great time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.